Hello, everybody. Joe Bag Donuts here, and welcome back to another episode of Umineko. A couple things I learned in the interim between recording yesterday and recording today. Turns out if I'm going to be recording with my mic track and the game audio track as separate audio tracks, I actually need to go into my video editing software of choice, in this case Adobe Premiere, and then export it. Otherwise, if I just take the raw OBS MP4 and try to listen to it, it's just the game audio. So that gave me a fucking heart attack when I was double checking it on YouTube. I'm like, wait, was my mic muted the entire time? Nothing makes your gut drop like that. Well, except maybe, waking up and having your channel deleted, but hey, hopefully that's the only time I have to experience that. And the second thing, I was right about the green text. There is like a little Dangopedia whatever thing, except they fucking hid it inside the tips in the grimoire. And then there we go. Honorifics, yeah, we know how honorifics are used. Words for members of the family, yep, Chinese characters, kanji, yep, I know what kanji are, I'm sure most of you do. Yeah, I assumed that was like a sutra or whatever. Cool. Jessica's speech. Yeah, she talks pretty masculine. Torigate. Referring to herself. Fucking ore, yada yada. Girls use watashi. Gotatsu. Hot table. Cool. So that is a thing. It is in there. And it... Oh yeah, what was it? The numbers, where it was like fucking 10 to the 30... I mean, or like the 56th power, or whatever. That's large Japanese numbers. I know the little ones. Like, once we start getting into, like, the billions and trillions, that's where it loses me. And then it's... oh yeah, down here at the bottom. These astronomically large numbers, which, you need to be a smart person in, like, theoretical science to ever see, ever. Normal human going about their days will never have to worry about a fucking 10 to the 59th power, whatever. Garbage. Anyway, just woke up, got my coffee. Let's go. The Ushirmiya Family Conference was held once every year. It took place on the first week of October. If a normal family were to use a pretentious name like Family Conference, expect it to be nothing more than a reunion of rarely seen relatives who greet each other surrounded by buckets of sushi. However, the Ushirmiya family, where the sons and siblings are lent great fortunes, and only those that achieve success in business are considered adults, it literally was a conference. How much of the fortune was invested? What kind of business was conducted? How much was earned? As a result, how much of a fortune borrowed from the main family could be repaid? Or, alternatively, how much would be borrowed for future business ventures? What lessons had they learned, and what could they learn from their mistakes? It seems like topics like these had become discussed very seriously in the past. My dad called it a bed of nails. Apparently, it used to be a very serious family meeting, where one would commonly be showered with harsh and angry voices, and even get slapped in the face despite being well past the age for it. Yeah, that sounds like a... like a Japanese shareholder meeting. If you've never listened to like the recordings of like the Nintendo shareholder meetings, holy fucking shit. Old Japanese business people who don't care about video games and just want their like return on their investment. It's rough. However, that was all a thing of the past. By now, everyone had achieved success in their own independent business ventures, and it was on the road to becoming a normal yearly get-together. Even so, being asked by grandfather about the current state of play was an extremely stress-inducing event. Actually, normally I check before I start recording, what's my audio looking like? And you'll be able to see what I was listening to on YouTube, up there in the corner. Okay, yeah, alright, cool. I always set my computer's audio to 50%. It's a good benchmark for when I'm recording, so I don't accidentally blow out your ears or like have you crank your volume up to 100 to try to hear what's going on in the game. And while to us grandchildren it was nothing more than a simple meeting, to our parents it was a real stomach ache. The absence of the man responsible for all of this, whatever the reason behind it, must surely have made today's lunch even more delicious. The phrase, "when the cat is away, the mice will play," comes to mind. Well then, let me introduce you to Jessica's father, whose face I haven't seen for 6 years. The man sitting to my dad's left is his older brother and father of Jessica, Uncle Rudolph. And this name sure is easy to read. Kraus. Oh yeah, it's Kraus. Fuck, Rudolph is his dad. Shit, fuck. It's too many names. I'm getting used to them. And it's also been a day since I last recorded. Get off my back. It's easy for you guys who can just blow through fucking 10 hours of a VN in like it's one sitting. But you know, all this gabbing I do, you know, it wears on you. After so many weird names, it warps your sense of what's normal, and you start to think, hey, what's wrong with Kraus? Sounds pretty cool, actually. Just like with Aunt Natsuki, I don't have many memories of speaking with Uncle Kraus. He had never been one to talk to children, and I feel he was always talking with the adults, just like Aunt Natsuki. Oh god, I got something in my throat. Give me a sec. The pain of waking up. I slept in a weird angle, so my box fan was blasting directly into my face, and my throat is a barren wasteland that cannot support any life or moisture today. So I just turned on my AC to dry it out even more. From the way my dad talked about him, it seems like he used to be a pretty spiteful and unreasonable person. What Dad said is true. He used to be very domineering as the oldest sibling, and was hated by Auntie Ava, Auntie Rosa, and the rest of the family. Odd, considering they're all having fun chatting together. Well, I guess even if the relationship was bad when they were children, sometimes when people grow up and go their separate ways, the relationship changes. And that's probably what this is. After all, they all have children about the same age. Since they share similar family environments, they probably all profit from exchanging opinions. Maybe because of that, the parent circle has been deep in conversation for a while now about exams Jessica and I are going to be taking. Jessica, in order to escape the discussion of exams with the old bastard sitting on her left, was purposefully facing to the right, firing off topic after topic as if not to give him an opening. Moving on, let's look at the end opposite from Uncle Kraus and the others. In the very last seat on the table, an old gentleman with a sturdy physique sat facing Kyrie-san. Sturdy is a nice way to put it. Robust would be another one. And this is my first time meeting him. I had only just been introduced to him, but it seems like he's grandfather's personal doctor, a man called Nanjo. Apparently, he used to own a huge clinic on the nearby Nijima Island, but he turned it over to his son and then began living a life of leisure in his old age. He's known grandfather since the very beginning, when the mansion was first constructed on this island, and they have a history going back several decades. I thought he might be grandfather's companion in his suspicious hobbies, but surprisingly, it seems like he's grandfather's chess partner. I see. That kind of hobby does seem very like our grandfather, with his love for Western style. You could probably also call him the only person able to enter Rokinjima who is neither a family member nor a servant. Okay, yeah. I was going to say personal doctor, servant, but not quite the same. From listening in on his conversation with the women folk seated near him, he gave the impression of a calm older gentleman. Considering he managed to put up with our short-tempered grandfather for so long, I'm sure his big heart is nothing to laugh at. Well, it better be fucking big to pump blood all over that body, my god. Still, even if he is his doctor, having someone from outside the Ushiramiya family attend the family conference is a little odd. From that fact, I imagine that grandfather's condition has grown much worse, and it may even be one of the major topics discussed at the family conference. George Eniki was just saying it too. For the past year, grandfather has been continuously pronounced as having very little time left to live. It's awful to talk about, but grandfather is an extremely rich man. At the time of his death, his wealth will suddenly be released, along with our parents' stomach acid, surely leading to some serious ulcers. With that kind of thing, the greater the number of ways it may be split, the more trouble will be caused splitting it. Yeah, even little inheritances can cause, like, big family fights. What was it? Oh, God, my grandfather, he was talking to me. He's in his 80s, and, like, one of his older brothers, like, kicked the bucket, like, who's, like, 92 or whatever. And that caused, like, a whole fucking big, like, family dispute. They tried to, like, take it to court and whatever. Shit show, even on the small scale. So, you know, multi-million-dollar corporations getting split up here. Probably want to lawyer up. This kind of talk would probably also be included in the family conference. Oh well, it's not like it has anything to do with us children. Finally, even though he's absent, let me introduce our grandfather. The person who should be sitting in the seat of honor is Ushirimiya Kinzo. That really sucks. He gave everyone else in the family these weird names, but he himself uses one which is conservative as all hell. Only his name were written in those same characters for gold and vault, but he let all his children call him Goldsmith or something. That'd be totally awesome. As you can probably gather from all the talk about him, he's a frightening person with an extremely short temper. Because I'm just his grandkid, and haven't met him since I was in elementary school 6 years ago. I don't remember ever having been beaten by him, but it seems like our parents were raised with an iron fist. Yeah, I hear stories from my older cousins about my grandparents, too. Like, they're like Quebecois farmers from, like, middle of nowhere. Well, used to be Quebec, but now Vermont. Even when they were, like, in teenagers, going to, like, school, like, you know, like, Meme says to go turn on the stove, and you're like, give me a minute, I'm doing my homework. Fucking next thing you know, you're seeing stars, and you're on the floor because you just got walloped upside the head. They were a little more older and calmer by the time I went up there, and we just picked berries out in the woods and baked pies with them. And chopped a lot of fucking firewood, my god. That earlier conversation between my dad and Uncle Kraus about who should try to convince grandfather to come out seemed oddly funny if you take this into account. In order to tell a grandfather story, you have to take yourself all the way back before the Showa era to recount the tale of the Ushirimiya family. Until the Meiji and Taisho eras, the Ushirimiya family was great and prosperous. They owned several spinning mills and were very wealthy people who nearly had to fall about laughing while the money rolled in. Incidentally, grandfather, as a member of a branch family, originally had nothing to do with the main family. Distantly separated from the head's inheritance, he apparently had very little involvement with the head house. However, during the Great Kanto earthquake in 1923, the mansion owned by the Ushirimiya main family in Odawara was flattened. The spinning mills in Tokyo were all burned down in a huge fire. And if they didn't burn down then, oh, you can fucking bet your ass they burned down in the 40s. And the Ushirimiya family lost most of its wealth and family members in an instant. People don't really talk about it very often, but the fire bombings of Tokyo were way more devastating than the nuclear attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like, Tokyo was razed to the ground. Like, I'm talking there was barely anything left. I'm pretty sure way more people died in the fire bombings, too. It then became a matter of who would become the heir to the main family, and as it turned out, none were left except for Kinzo, who was as far removed from the main family line as they come. Kinzo himself later said that it was such good luck, it was as though fate itself had been turned upside down. With that, grandfather's ordinary life did a 180. He was entrusted with reviving the wealth of the dying Ushirimiya family and had almost completely lost. Of course, just because you suddenly dump a task on someone doesn't mean they can do squat to accomplish it. I doubt the people around him were expecting much. This is where grandfather began to display his extraordinary talent and good luck. Grandfather used all the family funds and Everything from the hair on his head to his toenails is collateral to borrow a massive amount of money. Created a gigantic supply of funds and immediately started a business. It's like tumbling down a hill on a bike without any brakes. And then jumping onto a neighboring bike and then another one. Just like some crazy street performance. Probably anybody would have thought that grandfather had no business ability. But with an unbelievable amount of good luck and miracles, with coincidences piling up and every chance taken advantage of, before anyone knew it, he had forged powerful connections with the Allied forces. Ooh! My man helped with occupation. At the time, MacArthur and General HQ were in charge of Japan. Also, yeah, Japan under, like, U.S. military, governorship. Super interesting time period to read about also. Grandfather, in the twinkle of an eye, began succeeding in business under the protection of the occupying forces, quickly becoming very rich. At this point, it was no longer luck, but information that won the day. Must have made some serious thick connections with the occupying forces. Grandfather knew about the emergency demands that would be made for the Korean War before they happened. Oh, more than that, he must have foreseen these special procurements and started penetrating those markets from the very beginning. History textbooks say that all of Japan made a large profit off the emergency demands for the Korean War, but that wasn't the case in reality. Only a very limited number of super rich played the money game and made an easy profit. Most of the citizens remained poor. I mean, that's always how it goes. In other words, grandfather was an extremely lucky member of this group of winners. This all happened during the year 1950, I think? And since the year of the Great Kanto earthquake was 1923, it means grandfather was able to revive the near-dead Ushirimiya family to a level even higher than it had been before, in the span of only 20 to 30 years. With that, you'd think that he would revive the main family in Odawara. But for some reason, he went and did something as crazy as buying an entire small island in the Izu archipelago. Buying an entire island is not something you can do ordinarily today. However, grandfather was clever. He contacted the General HQ. I'm not going to say GHQ because for some reason that acronym breaks my brain. And applied for the establishment of a marine resource base. He acquired the island as a business property and then reneged on it and claimed it as a plot of land, as his own plot of land. After the war, there were preventative measures against food shortages, and furthermore, he had the sponsorship of the General HQ, which meant that nobody could oppose him. It seems that Tokyo provided the land for the next to no money at the time. Tokyo later made repeated complaints for the land to be returned, but not much could be done due to the involvement of GHQ. I know I just said I wouldn't say that, but I'm saying it again. I changed my mind. I'm a fickle person. Even though they'd been pushed into it. No doubt he'd bribed everyone there was to bribe. In the end, the city gave up in frustration. Grandfather, with considerable skill and blessed with good luck, managed to weather the stormy seas of that period, obtaining a vast fortune and his own island. Of course, it wasn't all luck. He was skilled with English, and this was cultivated by his Western obsession. It was by using that as a weapon that he was able to make inroads into GHQ. A mansion was immediately built on the island. That would be this mansion. Grandfather, who had always loved the West, made this once an uninhabitable I wanted to say uninhabitable, but it's uninhabited island, Rokenjima, a canvas upon which he could realize his dreams to his heart's content. The Western mansion that he had always imagined, overflowing with emotion, a beautiful garden with various roses had been planted. And a private beach where nobody other than himself would ever be permitted to leave a footprint. Now, this much would be every man's dream. I mean, I don't need that much, but, just a little plot on, close to the beach would be nice. I like fishing and digging for clams. Actually, I should go do that this week. I'm on vacation. I have my fishing license. And I think state law is, because I'm a resident, I'm allowed to take up to, 100 clams a day. That's a stupid amount of seafood. I'll probably, get poisoning from them, like mercury poison or something. After that, making good use of his huge fortune, he became a large stockholder in an extremely stable iron and steel industry, and was able to live an easy and comfortable life just using the dividends. Well, he's just that incredible. Oh, and this is the 80s. The fucking bubble hasn't burst yet, so woo, big money. This kind of person normally gets portrayed after the fact as having the ability to foresee and predict the future or something. But grandfather denies all that, repeatedly saying he was simply blessed with extraordinary luck. Anyway, even a lord like that, with all his dreams made real, he can't help but grow increasingly odd when locked alone on an island. Everyone knows he's been obsessed with the West for a very long time, but none of our parents really know when his bizarre black magic hobby began. Perhaps his love of black magic began way back when he became fascinated with the West, or possibly his miraculous stretch of good luck which allowed him to revive the family caused him to feel a mysterious power in himself. He got high in his own farts. At some point, grandfather began to make the research of black magic his life's work, filling his study up with suspicious books, chemicals, and magical items as he became increasingly bizarre. These being the few remaining years of a person's successful in life, those around him warmly watched over him, feeling the time was his to spend as he pleased. So I hear, but no way in hell that's true. They probably were just driven away, thinking, that's disturbing, I don't want to get involved. Well, that war-torn period was a time for big gambles with big opportunities and risks. I'd like to see grandfather do so well if he'd been born into this time period. He would have had no opportunities and would have probably have advanced like a chess piece from mandatory education at college at a leisurely pace, never becoming more than an average company employee. If that had happened, probably be sitting here with the rest of us, regaling us with tales of a shitty boss. No, not here, in the dining hall of this mansion. We might have been around a table at some bar. If that had been the case, I'm sure that this would have been a more comfortable family conference. Alright, that's enough talk about the old geezer that won't pop off. More importantly, let's talk about this incredible lunch. Yeah, what did you guys have? Don't make it sound too good, I haven't eaten yet.
刺身のサラダで俺はすでに確信してたね。幸田さんは大したシェフだぜ。しかも、魚は近海で取れたやつだろ?
God, good sashimi is so good. I've already, gushed about that Japanese place I used to go to when I lived out west. Really good tuna, my god. It was the kind of place where it's 3 pieces, yeah, that's $23. Fucking worth it. Best tuna I've ever had in my fucking life.
スーパーの刺身とはわけが違ったぜ。おいおいよせよバトラー。育ちがバレちまうだろうが。
Everyone let out a big laugh. Damn it, you say that even though you love those cheap pubs. Dude, pub food? Fucking fire.
僕も仕事の都合で珍しいところで食事をすることもあるけど、それらと比べてもこれはかなりのものだよ。
Hell yeah.
ゴーダさんは多分その道じゃ少しは知られた人だったんじゃないかな。
Someone puts a mysterious shot of tequila in front of you and you just slam it back and it's it's 3 in the morning and you've been slamming drinks back since 9 o'clock. It's like, uh-oh, this ain't staying down.
よくは知らねえんだけどよ。老舗ホテルでのれん分けだか派閥の分裂だかややこしいことがあってよ。
Yeah, that sounds about right.
そのトラブルで辞めざるを得なくなっちまったんだってさ。それでその時偶然おふくろが使用人の求人を出してたわけなんだよ。
As Go to clear away the empty plates, he began to recount his own eventful past, never losing a smile.
世の中というのは難しいものです。しかし、そのおかげでこうして今日、後宮家で再び料理人として腕を振るう機会を賜ることができました。
Sometimes, one door closes and then you just need to fucking throw a rock through a window and then climb through it.
大勢の方の笑顔も嬉しいですが、お仕えすると決めた 限られた方々にだけ喜んでいただくために繊細なお仕事ができるのもとても楽しいことでございます。これもすべて機会をくださった奥様のおかげです。
Goda-san respectfully bowed his head towards Aunt Natsuki.
応募のあった中でゴーダが一番腕が良かったからです。客観的判断に基づくもので市場はありませんので感謝には及びません。
It's the result of your own hard work. Oh man, why does Aunt Natsuki always have to speak so frankly? If only she spoke more gently, she might give off a different impression. Shannon-chan and Kumasawa-san entered from the hallway with a servant cart.
失礼いたします。
それでは本日のデザートに移らせていただきます。
Ooh, what we got? I got a sweet tooth. Goda-san and the others laid out a beautifully adorned dessert. I guess it's true when they say you have another stomach for desserts. Not that being fed all that delicious food had totally filled me up. As soon as I laid eyes on that dessert, my stomach started yelling, "More!" I don't know much about desserts, but this looked really good. White pudding-like substance was garnished with 2 shades of red sauce. Ooh. And elegant rose petals adorned the dish. When you dine on such magnificent food as this, first it is distributed in front of everybody, then the chef takes a moment to extol the virtues of his creation. Until he is finished, as a rule, you don't touch the food. However, Maria, who had no experience with these ceremonious rules, got excited by this beautiful and delicious-looking dessert and jumped into the fray as soon as it was placed before her. Auntie Rosa scolded her, calling it bad manners, but George responded by saying, No, it's alright. Sour? Is it like a lemon meringue? Maria exclaimed as she sampled the 2 colored sauces. Oh, it's the sauces.
当たりと外れがあるのかよ。よし、俺も味見をしてやるぜ。
Apparently, the 2 sauces were one sweet and one sour. Despite it being bad manners, I also stuck my little finger in and licked it. Ooh, one of them was sour enough to make you pucker up. If it were yellow, I'd have suspected lemon. I couldn't guess what kind of sourness would be red. Pickled plum? I decided to ask Sharon, who was putting away the servant carts behind us.
シャノンちゃん、この酸っぱいのは何のソースだい？
I mean, she probably didn't make it. Shanna-chan hesitated to speak. Maybe she's just setting the table and doesn't really know. She hesitated a bit much for that, though. Did I ask something wrong? Or did they use something that would be better off not knowing about? While Aunt Natsuki acted as though she had a headache, Kumasawa-san, who was sitting the other side of the table, began to laugh with a ho 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 ho.
何の材料を使っていると思いますか？驚きますよ。
わ、全然わかんね
Yeah,
えぜ。
sour is not a very, like, common flavor in cooking.
というか、熊沢のばあさんがそういう笑い方すると不気味でならねえぜ。
Don't tell her that, she's gonna do it more.
で、何なんだよ、正体は。
内緒ですよ。お耳を拝借。
Kumasawa-san leaned across from the other side of the table. That's a wide table. Did she, like, fucking crawl up on it? She has to borrow my ears, so I leaned forward too. Their interest caught. Jessica and George on the key, and of course Maria, also put their ears closer.
この酸っぱいのはですね、実はお魚のサバの絞り汁ですよ。
Really? Sour from a fish?
サバ?
Don't be ridiculous, we all thought, horrified. Only Maria accepted it, nodding with a, uh-huh.
ほう、サバは酸っぱいよ。絞ったらこうなる。
When Maria started clamoring that mackerel was sour, the adults were unable to contain their laughter.
違うわよ。 酸っぱいのはしめ鯖でしょ。
Okay, that makes sense. Auntie Rosa said to Maria in a small voice while turning her head. Ah, now I remember it perfectly. Sao-san was always this kind of character, wasn't she? I think I remember her tricking me about all kinds of things when I was young as well. Tricking kids is so much fun. I was walking on the beach with my nephew one time. With my dad, you know, just boys' day out. And there was just a brick on the beach. This was like in the middle of winter, you know. He wanted to go to the beach, and we went to the beach. You know how it is with kids. A nice, eroded brick. So I gave it to him. I'm like, this is a very rare seashell. He was like 3 at the time, so of course he believed me. So then he carried it home. He wanted to take a picture of him with it and me with it, because I'm the one who found it. Kids are nice like that. Amongst all of them, most painful must have been that one. That flimsy black stuff you get in Chinese food. Oh, I was about to say, what? Kikurage mushrooms. She told me it was penguin meat, and I went around school like a smartass telling everybody, didn't I? Ooh, that must be one meaty mushroom then. That sounds good. I love to go out and like pick some myself, but I'd probably end up killing myself with like some misidentified one like mixed in there.
今からゴーダさんがソースの正体を教えてくれますからね。
Goda-san looked a little put out from having his masterpiece laughed at in such a strange way, but after clearing his throat, he introduced the dessert to us.
それではデザートのご説明をさせていただきます。本日はご来賓の皆様が大層お気に入りでございましたバラの庭園にちなみまして、パンナコッタをローズガーデン風に仕上げてみました。
Cool. I don't know what a panna cotta is, because I am uncultured. Let's see. Help me out here, Google. I want to see a picture of this. Panna cotta. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like a creme brulee. Kind of that like puddingy custard look.
散らしてございますバラの花びらは当家の庭園より先ほど採取してきたものでございます。
Just for decoration. Don't eat them.
ソースはストロベリーとローズヒップの2色の赤をご用意しました。ストロベリーの甘味とローズヒップの酸味を交互にお楽しみになってください。
Okay, I can see getting a sour taste from something like rosehip.
なお花びらは観賞用となっておりますので、避けてからお
Must be
召
prepared
し
in
上が
different
り
way
くだ
than
さい
the
ませ。
tea, but
それではどうぞお楽しみください。
yeah, please don't eat the garnishing. Man, I almost want to applaud before I've even eaten it. It's like when you take medicine, you know, how it seems to work better when you read the instructions. Thanks to Goda-san's elaborating on the details of the dessert, I feel like he's knocked it up another notch. Seriously, you should call him meticulous or just talented. The dessert was probably planned from the beginning, but he took a cue from our stopping in front of the rose garden earlier today, and displayed an incredibly timed awareness of the season just by adding a few rose petals from the garden. Its combination of sweet and sour was also exquisite. If it was just sweet, you'd just get used to it and become bored halfway through. But by bringing in the sour sauce at that point, you get a really vivid taste. And then once you return to the sweet sauce, all the sourness in your mouth is replaced with an enjoyable sweetness again. And I have a cough in my throat. Ooh. I'm sure everyone else felt the same way. Every time Goda-san passed by one of the seats, someone praised the taste in his creation.
いかがですか、奥様。
相変わらず見事です。
Like, I wasn't joking when I said I have a sweet tooth. One time in elementary school, we went to a sugar house to see how maple syrup was made. And I bought, like, a pint of it at, like, the gift shop on the way out. And on the bus ride home, someone bet me, like, $10 I couldn't drink it all. so I proceeded to drink it all easy. I fucking slammed that thing back like it was nobody's business. It cost more than $10 to buy it, but, dumb fucking, I don't know, 8, 9-year-old me, I didn't care about that. It was the bragging rights that mattered.
お客様をおもてなしするに値します。
恐れ入ります。奥様、ご存知ですか?
And for having such a sweet tooth, I've only had like one cavity in my entire life, and it was a really tiny one. They just like took the drill and then plastered over it.
奥様に特にお気に入りいただけるかと思い、特別にご用意させていただきました。
そう。
I mean, it's nice, but you should
ありがとう。
probably take like actual medication.
ほら言ったでしょ、夏姫さん。ローズヒップは頭痛に効くって。
みたいね。聞くといいんだけど。
ああ、郷田さん、あんたには惚れるで。なあ、後であんたの待遇を聞かせてや。無理ならあんたの欲しい年収、指立ててくれるだけでもええやで。あんたの腕が、この島だけで独占されとるのは人類の食文化に対する冒涜や。その腕、わしの会社で振るって、お客の皆さんも喜ばせてみる気はないかのう。
秀吉さん、うちのゴーダを引き抜かれるのですか?
I don't think he's going anywhere. This seems like a good gig to have.
これは困った。ゴーダの待遇をもっと良くしないと引き抜かれてしまいそうだ。
そうした方がいいわね。じゃないと引き抜かれて、3食が熊沢さんのサバ料理にされちゃうわよ。
Nothing wrong with mackerel.
これは手厳しゅうございます。すっかり根に持たれてしまいまして。
Yeah, fish is good for you. It makes your brain big. Everybody let out a huge laugh. According to Jessica, Kumasawa-san's mackerel jokes were a type of running gag, and our parents had long since gotten used to them. Kumasawa-san often claimed that mackerel contained precious nutrients that could do things such as prevent aging and make people smarter. Yeah, she's right. Seems that while it couldn't stop the outward signs of aging, it helped prevent aging on the inside. Since she was still healthy enough to tell these kinds of jokes at her age, that benefit must be the real thing.
それでは失礼いたします。夕食にはふるってたくさんのサバ料理をお召し上がりいただきますので、どうぞご期待くださいませね。
I'd take you up on that.
期待してるよ。今晩はしめサバでキュッとしゃれ込みたいぜ。
Like little fish like that? Oh man, I love to just fucking toss them on the fire in like some tin foil.
それは素
Get
敵
them
ね。
nice and crispy.
ついでに日本酒の美味しいのも出てこないかしら。
ええ、ございますよ。六軒島名物のサバ焼酎なるものがございまして。
I'd try it. Kumasawa-san, together with Shannon-chan, bowed and pushed the servant cart away. Amusingly, Goda-san, who looked just as though his stock had been stolen from him, explained very seriously that tonight's dinner would actually be calf steak. Ooh, get some veal?
熊沢さん、さっきはありがとうございました。
Veal is really good, but I got burnt out on it when I was stationed in Biloxi. It seemed like every single day at the dining facility, it was either fried catfish or veal, fried catfish, veal, fried catfish, veal, some other kind of white fish. Just that for like months straight. It's like, it's good, it's really good, but can I please have something else? As she pushed the serving cart, Shannon bowed her head very deeply.
なんもお礼を言われることなんてありません。
Kumasawa-san played dumb, but it was no accident that she had thrown Shannon a lifeline. Back when Battler had asked for the details of the dessert, Shannon had unfortunately hesitated. There may have been several ways to dodge the question, but all of them should have been delivered deftly. Shannon, who hesitated when hard-pressed for a response, was always suffering because of this small weakness. If only Shannon, like Goda, Without a little of the craftiness needed to skillfully shake off a mistake, days would be a little more comfortable. This weakness was especially unfortunate considering how flawlessly she could handle her work. Of course, there were those who well understood Shannon's meek nature and her inability to remember to gloss over her mistakes. Which is why Kumasawa-san came to her aid without hesitation.
さっき源氏さんが午後のシフトに変更があるとおっしゃってましたよ。
You working folk people need to stick together.
確かシャノンさんは夕方までお休みがもらえたと思いました。羨ましい。
すみません。シフト表を確認していませんでし
I
た。
wouldn't check that. I'd be checking that like every couple hours.
そうそう。オーブンでこれからちょっとサバを焼こうと思ってるんですよ。できたらお休みの前にちょっと手伝ってくれると嬉しいですね。
はい。喜んでお手伝いさせていただきます。
Shannon, Kumasawa-san, oh, there's just Kumasawa, was like a mother amongst the servants. Among us? The dining hall needed to be cleaned up, so we were chased out. Instead, tea would be served in the parlor. There's some nice-looking chairs. It seemed that they would be preparing the black tea that Auntie Rosa had bought for Aunt Natsuhi. Maria insisted that she also wanted to drink the black tea, but was rejected by the old bastard, who told her and the rest of us kids to go play outside.
バトラ君、
I was
みん
gonna
な
say
で
caffeine will
表に
stunt
散
your
歩に行か
growth,
ないかい？
but maybe maybe she needs a little something to keep her from shooting up too much.
バラ
Unless
で
she
も
wants
見
to
に
be
行
on
っ
a
たら
basketball team.
でも天気には十分注意するんやで。空はまだ明るいが、天気予報はふるふると繰り返しちょる。
With a storm blowing in, probably not the best place
あ
to
ら
be.
素敵じゃない。砂浜で遊ぶなんて普段はなかなかできないものね。
そっか。
Those clothes, though? Ugh,
よし。
getting
じゃ
sand
あみん
everywhere?
なで浜辺でも行こうぜ。
We got like some casual clothes we can just change
Maria?
into.
服を濡らさないようにするのよ。靴もよ。
濡らさ
素直で可愛い。バトラ君、マリアちゃんの面倒ちゃんと見てあげてね。
おうよ、任せろ。
ほう。お前もキリエに頼まれると素直で可愛いじゃねえ
Oh, I would be too.
か。たまには俺の言うことも素直に聞いてみろよ。
へっ、まっぴらごめんだぜ。行こうぜ、みんな。ほらほら。
The children flew out of the parlor. They were replaced by Genji, who pushed a servant cart in and prepared the black tea. The parlor was filled with a sublime aroma, which entertained everybody while they waited to please their thirst. Appease their thirst.
ルドルフのところは家族仲がいいじゃないか。良いことだ。
よせよ。兄貴のところには負けるぜ。
そうよ。
I mean, it's more like they have Jessica Witt.
ジェシカちゃん、本当に可愛らしく育ったじゃない。これも夏日姉さんの教育の賜物ね。
どうも。
Natsuki answered coldly. With that, the conversation halted, and the parlor became silent. Possibly because she couldn't stand it anymore. Because he couldn't stand it anymore, Hideyoshi broke the silence while performing an exaggerated gesture.
しかし、成長は早いもんやで。いつまでも子供だと思っとったが、図体はみるみるでかくなり、いつの間にか大人の仲間入りや。バトラ君なんか見違えたで。
Yeah, 6 years is a long time.
体は大きくなりましたけど、まだ子供です。うちの主人も未だに子供ですけれど。
子供と大人の境ってどこなのかしらね。
For men, about like 25, I would say.
私、未だに大人になったって自
No,
覚
we
が
get some new
持てない
kids at work. I say kids, they're 19. But it's like such a gap. it's just me getting old. Like, they start talking about things and saying words, and it's like, I don't know, what? Huh? What's... Tic Tacs? You got mints on your phone? What?
情けないじゃないか。一児の母の言うことではない。
そうね。私たちももう子供じゃない。大人同士よ。だから感情的にならず、知的な会話をしたいわね。
When Ava smiled with sharp sarcasm, everything seemed to get more tense. It felt like the smell of the tea had been prepared so carefully just flew out the window.
知的な会話なら昔からいつも心がけているじゃないか。お前の嫌味は時に的を外している。昔から変わらない。
昔からいつもですって？あらあら。その言葉をきれいに放送して、何十年か前のこの部屋に届けてあげたいわね。
The kids are gone, they can really speak their minds.
ねえ、ローザ。
Rosa smiled with a vague expression. Whether she agreed or disagreed, she knew that she would earn the displeasure of either her brother or her sister. It was a bit of worldly wisdom that she had needed to learn as the youngest sibling.
よせよ、姉貴。ガキどもがいない間に本題に入ろうじゃねえか。それこそ知的な話よ。
As Rudolph glanced over the faces of all present, some let out a slight sigh, and some let a small look of resignation cross their face. This was the unavoidable, true agenda.
去年の時点で余命3ヶ月だったんだ。ってことは、すでにマイナス9ヶ月ってことじゃねえか。いつお迎えが慌ててすっ飛んでくるかもわからねえ状態ってことだぜ。
当主様は今でも健在でおられます。このような不穏当な話を日も明るいうちからなさろうとするなど、ルドルフさんの正気を疑わざるを得ません。
Look, it's the responsible thing to have contingencies in place for a scenario like this, especially with, like, the old man stature.
だがな、夏日さん。
And, would stature be the right word? No. You know, his position, I suppose.
こういうしょっぱい話はいざことがあってからじゃ遅いんや。
Yeah.
今が元気だからこそ余裕あるうちにしとくもんなんやで。これも財産のエチケットみたいなもんや。
諸君の関心は親父殿のようじゃないか。南條先生、あなたから説明してくださいませんか。彼らもそれをお望みらしい。
Nanjo, standing by the window and staring out at the rose garden, I will also clear my throat, let out a single cough when he realized he was being called.
南條先生、お父様の具合はどんな感じなんですか？
まずはじめに、私が去年申し上げました余命3ヶ月という言葉が一人歩きをしているようですので、
言われずともわかるわ。余命というのはあくまでも見込みであって約束ではないとおっしゃられるのよね。
Yeah.
さようです。ですから皆さんからたびたびお尋ねを受けますが、いつ亡くなるのかということは決して断言できないことなのです。人の命は体と心に支えられております。体が弱れば危うくもなりますが、それを補う心の強さがあれば、小康状態を維持することもあるのです。
体はともかく、お心はまだしっかりしていて、意気健康でいらっしゃれるということですね。
I mean, it can definitely help you out.
キリエ、すまんがしばらく黙っててくれ。
ごめんなさい。
さようです。
Yep, siblings are talking.
金蔵さんの体はすっかり病魔に蝕まれております。
But what disease? I know Japanese fiction loves to just say, you know, oh, they're sick, and then never elaborate on it.
ましてや、あのような強いお酒をたしなまれ続けては、とてもとても。
So most of the time, it's really just tuberculosis. Like the whole thing about like, oh, they're just ill and sickly and they cough up blood. Literally just tuberculosis. Like, people tend to forget about it, but tuberculosis was a huge fucking thing like 100 years ago. Like, it's not that far gone in the past when that was just something that would just, ravage families and communities, and like, well, there they go. Woo! Consumption. Great thing.
流れてるのも酒のせいか。酒豪の親父らしいね。
それで先生、もちろん見込みで結構なんですけども、お父様、
Yeah, what is your,
来年の今日まではさすがにどうかしら。
当主様に対してあまりに無礼な質問です。
Natsuhi jumped on Eva, unable to hide her astonished expression. In response, Eva returned a defiant look, but Hideyoshi noticed and tried to smooth things over with a forced smile.
あ、Natsuhi-san、カニーナ。エヴァ、お前も少し言葉を選ばんか。
ごめんなさい。お父様の容体が気になって仕方なかったもので。
そうですか。
Sure about that?
それは気づきませんでした。
南條先生、聞かせてやってください。父親の寿命を気遣う娘の麗しい家族愛じゃないですか。
Russ laughed sarcastically, and Ava, smiling sweetly, returned an identical chuckle.
来年までお元気かという質問ですが、医者の私としてはとても難しい。この小康状態がまだしばらくは続くようにも思いますし、何らかの発作が来れば、その時にはどうしようもない。
Yeah, people can seem fine, and then they just... Oh, my hands are a little sweaty, so I tried to snap, and it didn't work. They just go woo downhill off a cliff.
何しろ、六軒島は孤島です。すぐに救急車が飛んでこれるわけではありません。本来ならば本土のしかるべき大病院に入院していただきたいところなのですが、
親父殿は高尚な研究を中断されたくないと仰せだ。去年無理に連れ出そうとしたのがあだになったらしい。外へ出れば病院に閉じ込められてしまうのではないかとひどくお疑いになられていてな。
I mean, because he's right.
すっかりこのざまなのだよ。
南條先生の診察は受けておられるの？
親父殿は南條先生には心を許しておられる。機嫌が良ければ診察も受けられるようだがね。
容体を見はするが、薬を勧めようとも入院を勧めようとも聞き入れてくれ。
He's like, I got a potion for this in the cabinet.
本当に
I don't need this medication.
お医者嫌いの方もおるもんや。しかし困ったもんだのう。
Nanjo sighed deeply. The purpose of an examination was to determine what medical treatment was appropriate. Receiving an examination and then not following the advice given made the whole thing pointless.
つまりおさらいすると、相変わらず余命は3ヶ月。瀕死のまま、あとどれだけ長らえるか見当もつかねえってことだ。
Nope.
ルドルフさん、言葉を少し慎まれてはいかがですか？
ああ、すまんね。昔からこういう口の利き方なんだ。勘弁してくれ。
南條先生のご意見は分かりました。クラウス兄さんから見てどうなの？
実を言うと南條先生とは異なる意見ですね。とても余命3ヶ月の重病人とは思えないというのが本心だ。怒鳴り声は相変わらず健在で、
I mean, yeah, he's a very spirited person, but you know, if his insides are fucking rotting out, then
長男にだけ親父の世話を押し付けるのは実にフェアではないね。
来世では俺より後に生まれろよ。さて、話を戻そうぜ。そんなわけで、公正中立なお医者の先生の見解じゃ、いつお隠れになっちまってもおかしくない状態だ。
Nope.
兄貴には悪いが、ここは専門家の意見を採用させてもらうぜ。となりゃ、 決して親父の財産を話し合うことは時期尚早ではないってことさ。
お父様の個人資産はおそらく数百億にも届くでしょうね。でもそれは綺麗な現金で揃ってるわけじゃないわ。お誕生会のケーキみたいに綺麗にナイフが入ってカットできるほど単純じゃないでしょ。
A lot of it's going to be invested in businesses and, you know, shares and stocks and whatever.
姉貴の例えは面白い。
It's not liquid.
そうさ。ケーキの上にはイチゴやらチョコの家やらが乗ってて、綺麗に等分するのが難しいことだってあるだろう。それを加味してどういう風にナイフを入れるのか先に相談しておくのは大切なことだと思うぜ。
それを当主様が存命のうちからさも他界なされたかのように声高に議論される皆さんの気が知れません。
I mean, you're real broken up about this.
あら、必要な話よ。だって遺産相続はその時点で直ちに行われなきゃならないものよ。
Maybe I'm relatively numb to like the whole end of life doom and gloom thing. No, part of my stint in like Base Honor Guard was I was in it for like a year and a half. I've been over 100 funerals. I've seen the gambit of like all sorts of family situations, like people who've just died randomly, people who've, you know, they've known about it for like years and had everything all prepped, people whose families didn't even show up because they fucking hated them, you know. So this kind of topic, it's fairly mundane to me.
ましてや栄光ある後宮家の財産は莫大。事前に入念な相談が必要なことはお分かりでしょうが。
I mean, part of the things we did was like hospice visits too.
当家の資産はあなたのご実家とは大違いなんだから。
失礼な。私の実家は関係ありません。
As Natsuki resentfully responded in a low voice, the already dark atmosphere grew even more hostile.
予算買えば。夏日さん、堪忍な。口が悪いのは許したってな。
Hideyoshi tried to smooth things over by glancing at both with a forced smile, but only resulted in making the hostility between Ava and Natsuki even more intense.
これ以上はお邪魔なようですな。失礼させていただきましょう。
Yeah, I'd want to get out of here too, man. Nanjo rose from his seat and exited the parlor. This may well have been a normal act of courtesy expected from an outsider, but even so, his back was watched by several glances envious of his ability to escape. After the doctor had exited and his footsteps had disappeared into the distance, Kraus recrossed his legs. You gotta be careful when you cross your legs, you might fucking crush your nuts by accident. People at work make fun of me because I sit with my legs crossed. Usually I'll have like my ankle or like lower calf on like my knee, so that way I have like a place to put my arm when I'm reading a book or something. And, you know, I've accidentally totally fucking CBT'd myself between my thighs on accident sometimes. It's rough.
確かにお前たちの言う通り、後宮家の財産を算定し分配するのは簡単なことではないだろう。なれば、じっくりと算定すべきじゃないのかね。お前たちは今晩のうちにもケーキを切り分けたいと焦っているように見える。
But like I said, you guys should really have your lawyers present for this.
そうだろう、ローザ。何を焦ることがあるのかね。
焦ってるわけじゃない。でも兄弟の間での取り決めは必要。それはいつでもいいことだけれども、
It does need to happen.
お父様の具合が悪くなっていて、その日が近づいているというなら、
It's the responsible thing to get this shit sorted
先
out.
に話だけしておいても、それは請求とは言わないと思うし。
Rosa sneaked a glance at Ava and Rudolph. As the youngest daughter in the family, being cross-examined by the eldest was harsh.
ほう、それはお前の本心かね。兄弟で一番素直で綺麗な心を持っていたお前がそんなことを言い出すとは思えんね。
I mean, it sucks, but
そこの二人に吹き込まれたんじゃないのかね。
よせよ兄貴。ローザだって兄弟だぜ。親父の遺産に公平な権利がある。関心を持つのは当然じゃねえか。親父だっていつかは必ず死ぬし、それは遠い未来の話でもない。むしろ兄貴が悠長すぎるくらいさ。まるで遺産分配から話をそらしたくて仕方がないように見えるぜ。
それはどういう意味ですか？主人にやましいところがあるとおっしゃいたいのですか？
まあ、夏日さん。話は聞いておくなあれ。
兄さん、今は大変強気だそうじゃない？
I mean, yeah.
そうよね。去年以降、空前の好景気で円は上がる一方、ドルが100円に至るのだって夢物語じゃなさそうよ。それに、与党は来年頃に保養地整備法を成立させようって言うじゃない。今や日本中のリゾート開発会社がどれだけ軍資金を集められるかって奔走してるところよ。
詳しいじゃないか。
Alright, Krauss, what's your game here?
これから日本には空前の好景気が訪れる。
Yeah.
親父殿が後ろ宮家を再興した時と同じくらい
crazy crash that will extend for like 2.5 decades that Japan like still is feeling the after effects from to this day.
日本国民は死に物狂いで働き、高度経済成長を実現して世界で一番豊かな国民となり、我が世の春を謳歌するようになった。国民の消費は増大し、それを回収できる施設があぶく銭を手にする時代になったのだよ。今や国民のニーズは3種の電化製品ではない。スキー場、ゴルフ場、総合プール。
And we can leave the public pools out of it. But like golf and skiing, hell yeah. I still need to learn to ski. I know how to snowboard, but I bought a pair of like cheap like military surplus skis for like $30. Some like really nice hybrid like cross-country downhill skis. I don't know how to ski, but hey, you know.
リゾートホテルにテーマパーク。
Just gotta wait like a couple months and then I can learn.
数年前に開業したデルゼニーランドには行ったか。素晴らしい遊園地じゃないか。あそこでは大人も童心に帰り家族で楽しむことができるんだ。かつて家族を顧みずに滅私奉公することだけが美徳だった時代はもはや終わろうとしている。我々は世界で一番豊かな国民としてようやくそれを享受できるようになったのだよ。
クラウス兄さんの読みは大したもんや。わしも数年前に聞いたときはそんなアホなと思ったわ。
Like, there's another good 10 years till the bubble bursts.
でもな、G5 のプラザ合意聞いてから変わったんや。円はみるみる強くなり、地価はこれから天井知らずに上がるやろ。日本が世界経済の中心になる日も遠くはない。兄さんは時代を見る目のある人や。
Japan's like the fourth largest economy or something?
それだけは間違いないで。
秀吉兄さんに同じだ。兄貴は10年越しで時代を読めてるよ。その嗅覚は親父譲りだろうな。大したもんだぜ。だが親父と違ってちょいと見通しのタイミングを読み違っちまったところはあるよ。
兄さんは必ず日本が好景気を迎えると信じてあちこちにリゾート計画を起こし、そのほとんどで失敗し続けたわ。兄さんの読み通りの時代は確かに訪れつつあるけど、その時期を読むことには失敗したわね。早すぎたのよ。そして焦って清算して、結局は傷口を広げたわ。
Yep, sometimes you just gotta hold and fucking hunker down.
本当に嗅覚が当てになって好景気が訪れることを読めていたなら清算するわけない。
I haven't looked at my investments in a while. I'm too scared to. Fucking economy's been shit this year.
これって
I got my quarterly report for my retirement fund. I'm like, all right. I'm like, why is my quarterly growth in the red? Hello?
失礼な。主人を侮辱するつもりですか？
I also missed out big time last year on some AMC. I owned like 500 shares when it was like $3 a share. And then it like jumped up to like 5. This is like when the GameStop thing was happening. I'm like, nice. I sold. I made like $6,000. I'm like, wicked. Fucking cashed out easy on that one. And then the next day it was up to like $14 a share. And if I had held, I would have made like $40,000. And I'm like, oh. Ava, paying this no heed, stared at Kraus with a confident smile. Kraus, who also maintained his confident appearance, told Natsuki to sit down. You're being dramatic.
昔からこういう言い方しかできないやつだ。少し落ち着きなさい。また頭痛に触る。
兄さんに才能がない証拠は私たちのすぐ近くにもあるわよ。だって兄さん、この島をリゾート化するって張り切ってたじゃない？素敵なリゾートホテルも建てて、庭園もきれいに整備して。
I don't know, island seems a little small for a resort. What was it? Was it 10 kilometers across, I think they said? Like that's... Or was it 10 kilometers around?
私は素人だから分かりかねるけど、相当のお金を使ったんでしょう。
だから何だというのですか？主人の事業はあなたとは関係ありません。
いや、そいつは違うぜ、夏日さん。六軒島は兄貴のものじゃない。
Yeah, not yet anyway.
親父のものだ。もちろん建てたホテルは兄貴のものだぜ。なんなら、俺たちは今夜の宿泊料を払ってやってもいいさ。な、ローザ。
それはまあ持ち合わせで足りるなら。
リゾート化できればこの島の資産価値は上がる。
I got like $5 in my pocket and some fucking hard caramel candies. Will those cover the fee?
支出がかさんだことは事実だが、未来に大きな収穫を期待できる。そうなれば、結果的にお前たちにとっても有益なはずじゃないか。
それはわかるわよ。この島の価値が上がればそれを遺産分配する時の私たちの取り分も増えるもの。もちろん、島や屋敷を4分の1ずつ切り取れとは言わないわ。それを算定したお金で解決してくれればいいだけの話よ。
そこまで分かっているなら、私の事業に何の不満があるんだね。
不満じゃねえさ。
Well, it seems like you're the one who's gonna be holding the, the carving knife once this is all over. Maybe you give yourself a, maybe a little bigger share than everyone else.
第一兄貴、あのホテル、いつになったら開業するんだ？このままじゃ、俺たちの手垢だらけになっちまうぜ。
そうよ。大切な商売道具でしょ。確かに開業するまでずっと鍵をかけておくわけにもいかないわよね。少しは使って風通しを良くしないと建物は傷んじゃうもの。でも私たちが年に一度泊まるだけのゲストハウスって言うんじゃちょっと豪勢すぎやしないかしら。
And you're like 30 years too early for Airbnb.
ねえローザ。
そうね。あんなに素敵ならオープンしたらさぞや人気が出るでしょうね。
ああ、あなたが前に言ってたホテルって、
Yeah.
ゲストハウスのことだったのね。
Thank you for spelling it out for people who didn't get it.
立派なもんだろう。ローザの言う通り、オープンできたら人気が出るだろうよ。
The lodging they had been guided to had not been constructed with the intent of building a guest house. It was originally constructed as a resort hotel. However, even though it had been completed 2 years ago, there was absolutely no schedule for it to be opened.
兄さんのいつもの事業と同じよ。着目や企画はご立派。そしていつも途中で立ち行かなくなって何も回収できずに終わる。
この島をただ住むだけにしか使わないのはもったいないって兄貴の着眼は立派さ。そしてリゾート化してマリンスポーツやらフィッシングやら、ハネムーンやらを誘致して盛り上げようってのはなかなかいい絵だったと思うぜ。俺だって長男だったなら この島を何かに有効利用できないかと頭をひねったに違いないさ。
でももう出来上がってから2年も経つのよ。2年経って未だに開業のめどはつかないの？任せてる管理会社はどこ？
失敬な。それは主人の手落ちではありません。
Yeah, they were just hoping for the old man to croak a little
主人
faster.
の仕事を請け負う会社間でトラブルが生じているだけで、う
Then, you
ち
know,
は
it
あ
turns
くま
out
でも
he's
被害者です。
sticking around a little bit.
しかしな、クラウス兄さんが任せてる例のとこ、あまりええ噂は聞かんで。
はっきり言ってあげなさいよ。不払い横領トラブルで計画が空中分解しちゃったって話。私たちの耳に届かないとでも思ってる？裏も取れてるんだから。
何の裏だか存じませんが、事実無根です。
wouldn't say
観
that.
光業への新規参入には方
Before
々
you
への
see
根
it,
回
let's
し
see
が必要になります。
what a jury of your peers thinks about that.
相手が信用に足りるかを測ることも大事です。それに手間取っているだけに過ぎません。
ホテルの完成が早すぎて勇み足になったことは認めよう。だが維持費がかかってるわけじゃない。やがて大きな意味を持つ布石だ。
嘘つけよ。生産したくても売れないだけだろ。観光ルートの確立してない何もない離島にやたら豪華なホテルなんて買い手がつくわけもねえさ。それに事業に集めた融資はどうなってんだよ。
維持費はかからんでも返せん借金は膨らむ一方や。
Interest is a bitch.
すまんがクラウス兄さん、この島の開発計画の話ちょいと調べさせてもろたんや。
Where's my money?
正直こっちもええ話は聞かへんのや。
秀吉さん、確かに今の財政状況だけを見たらそういう印象を持たれるかもしれない。だがこれは先行投資なのだよ。その読みを誤り、これまでに多くの負債を生んでしまったことは認めざるを得ない。だがようやく時代が私に追いついた。これまでに失った分はすぐに取り戻せる。いや、それどころかこれまでの投資だってやがては私のもとに戻ってくる。そう例えるなら、放った稚魚が鮭となり肥えて帰ってくるようにね。
それは認めるで。これからリゾート業界は空前の好景気を迎えるやろ。これまでの負債を埋められるほどかはわからんが。だがな、クラウス兄さん、これまで散々負け続けた兄さんがどこから軍資金を調達したっていうんや。それも半端ない軍資金や。
Yeah, what's the interest rate on those loans?
あれだけの穴を埋められる軍資金やで。
Are you just taking out loans to pay your other loans?
秀吉さんは何をおっしゃいたいのですか？
ああ、夏樹さん、ほんま怒らんといてえな。わしらも調べたんや。これまで負け戦続きのクラウス兄さんに最近の強気な莫大投資を支えられるほどの融資を誰ができたんか。
結果いねえんだよ。そんな後ろ盾は、弱り目と逆に張るのがマネールーレットの鉄則だ。兄貴はこの界隈じゃちょいと知られた弱り目さ。
They're just kind of hoping that, you know, you won't be able to pay them back, and then, you know, your old man croaks, and then they can swoop in and, you know, take this to court, all your shit, now mine, in order to cover these loans.
確かに時代は好景気を迎えようとしているが、これまでの兄貴の失敗等を天秤にかけて、その上で融資に値すると思う連中がいるのかって言ったら誰
ならね、そのお金をどこから調達したの？
I'm sure the most above board
ってことになるのよ。
ほう、興味深い話じゃないか。それで
あなた、このような暴言をいつまで放置されるつもりですか？
座れよ、夏日さん。単刀直入に言おう。兄貴は 親父の個人資産を自分の事業に流用してる。これはほぼ間違いねえ。これが俺たちの誤解だってんなら、どうかぜひそれを解いてもらいたいもんさ。
ルドルフ、流用なんてもんじゃないわよ。これは横領よ。刑事告発できる立派な犯罪なんだから。
無礼極まりない。仮にも後宮本家跡継ぎの後宮クラウスに向かって信じられない暴言です。
Because they seem to be true?
暴言じゃないわよ。図星でしょ。
Yeah, don't be so flustered otherwise.
なんとか事業を成功させて、これまでの損失を埋めたいんだけど、その穴は広がっていく一方。博打の穴をさらに大きく張った博打で埋めたいだけよ。その軍資金がすぐ近くにあったなら、手をつけるのは道理。はっきり言うわ。兄さんがしているのは横領よ。お父様に対する裏切りよ。
Yeah, this ain't a good look.
叱るべき決着がついた後には、司法に委ねることになるでしょうね。そんな輩に後宮本家跡継ぎを名乗らせるとお思い？
ユニコと書いて。
Someone open a window?
当主様への裏切りとは聞き捨てがたい。この栄光ある後宮家の敷居をまたぐ資格はもはやあなたにはありません。即刻ここを出て行きなさい。
This isn't your fucking house.
さあ、ほら。
Natsuki, who had already reached the limits of her anger, shouted at Ava in a rage. Then she pointed alternatively at Ava and the hallway, indicating that she should leave. Ava took out a folding fan and fanned herself with it, glaring maliciously at Natsuki as though silently daring her to repeat what she'd said. However, her mouth was still smiling, curved in the shape of a crescent moon. In that unpleasant silence, Rosa gulped.
ねえ、夏日姉さん、誰に向かってそんな口をお聞きなの？
無礼極まりない主人の妹に対してです。これ以上は私も本家の台所を預かる者として聞き捨てなりません。
台所を預かる？
I mean, is that a title you gave yourself?
黙るがいい、この名ばかり女房が。
Ava folded the fan with a snap and rose powerfully. Compared to the elegance and playful behavior she had shown just now, she was unimaginably aggressive.
バカバカしい、お前が下がりなさい。
Cat fight.
この後宮エヴァに当主様の左肩を許されている後宮家序列第3位のこのエヴァに下がれと？身の程を知りなさい。そしてお前のそのみすぼらしい姿を鏡に映してみるがいい。お前の服のどこに翼が、どこに片翼のわしが許されているのか。貴様など後宮家の跡継ぎを残すためだけの存在じゃないの。身の程をわきまえるがいい、このゲス女が。
While Ava's face grimaced unattractively, her words pierced Natsuki's heart like claws and painfully twisted in. There were 100 ways Natsuki wanted to respond. However, her anger and sorrow crushed her throat, and not one of them managed to make it out of her mouth. The anger which had lost any place to go became a single hot tear which slowly dripped down.
何か言い返したいなら、どうぞ言い返しなさいよ。ほーら。
Ava faced her with a provocative gaze. However, Natsuki's fist was shaking. She trembled all over, unable to do anything. Krause quietly broke that powder keg tension.
Natsuki, 席を外しなさい。頭を冷やすといい。
Yeah, maybe go for a walk. Natsuki, resenting the fact that her husband had to come to her aid, shifted the focus of her attack.
あなたはさっきから何を言われているのか分かってるんですか？
Damn, maybe if you don't want people saying that your husband committed crimes, you shouldn't have committed those crimes.
この人たちはユニコと書いてあなたのことをお父様への裏切り者呼ばわりしているんです。 私たちが後宮家の栄光を守り、お父様からそれを受け継ぐため日々高潔であろうとする全ての努力をないがしろにして踏みにじる、なんという聞きがたい暴言。
And you do that by committing crimes.
あなたもあなたです。どうして言い返さないんですか？あなたが言い返さないから私が言い返しているのに、さっきからあなたは私に任せっきりで、その私に頭を冷やして恋なんて言うんですか？
Yes, you're clearly hysterical.
いつも私ばかり。
Yeah, I wonder why.
いつも真剣にこの家のことを考えているのに、それをあなたは
Natsuki could no longer hide her tears. She flew from the room in that state. After that, all that remained was a somewhat embarrassed mood about the parlor. When the sound of footsteps grew distant and silence returned, Grouse shrugged his shoulders slightly.
昔から感情を抑えるのが下手で。
You think?
私も苦労している。
あんなのに切り盛りされてたんじゃ、兄さんも気苦労が絶えないわね。
Alright, go cry somewhere else.
奥様。
何でもありません。下がりなさい。
Natsuki flew into her room and bent over the bed wailing. Those heart-wrenching sobs reached Kumasawa in the hallway.
おいたわしや奥様。奥様とエヴァ様は犬猿の仲。このお二人の関係を説明するのは女の私にはとてもしんどくございます。後ろ宮家は血を特に重んじられますが、嫁いで家を出れば本来は序列から除籍されます。ですからエヴァ様も本来は秀吉様とのご成婚の際に除籍されるはずだったのです。
They just made it matrilineal.
ところがこれは誰のせいでもありません。ましてや奥様のせいであろうはずもありません。
Natsuki can't pop any out, huh?
神様の気まぐれとしか言いようがありません。クラウス様と夏日様にはなかなか子宝が授からなかったのです。何しろ男尊女卑の後宮家でございます。
No heir skips down.
妻は跡継ぎを残すための道具。その妻が唯一の役割を果たせないのなら、もはや人間扱いなどされません。当時の奥様が親方様からどれほど責め苛まれていたか思い出すのも苦しゅうございます。そんな中、
Yeah,
エヴァ
Kinzo
様
doesn't
に
seem like he'd be the
秀
most
吉様とのご
supportive
結
of
婚の
that
話が持ち
situation.
上がりました。エヴァ様は狡猾でした。奥様がいつまでも身ごもられないことにつけ入って親方様に取り入ったのです。入り婿を取って自分が跡継ぎを産むと吹き込み、ご自分の席を後宮家にとどまらせるよう認めさせたのでございます。後宮家に嫁ぎ外様扱いの奥様と入り婿を取る形で血族として残ったエヴァ様は後宮家の序列の中では雲泥の差。しかもエヴァ様は先にそれも男児をご出産されております。どれほど奥様の立場がエヴァ様の前で弱いものであったか、お察しいただけますでしょうか。奥様にとってはもし自分がすぐに解任することができれば、エヴァ様の入り婿など親方様に認めさせずに済み、今日のエヴァ様の増長を許さずに済んだだろうという悔しい気持ちがあるに違いありません。しかしそれは奥様のせいであろうはずもない。すべては気まぐれな神様とジェシカさんをお届けすることが遅れたコウノトリのせいなのでございます。だからといって 奥様にはそうと割り切れるはずもない。
Yeah, it probably didn't help that, you know, you had a girl too.
ただただ妻としての責務を全うできなかったことに、女として悔し涙をこぼす
Old man
しかできない
Kinzo
で
doesn't seem like
し
he'd be
ょ
the most, you know, proponent of gender equality in the world.
はあ、おいたわしや。私には何もできず、こうして物陰から見守ることしかできないのです。
Alright, back to inheritance. Ugh. Oh, winding back. Got into the garden? Yep. Alright, and with that, that is where we're going to end it here for today. So once again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. See you all next time for the next episode of Umineko, where we'll leave all that nasty venom slinging to the adults and go play in the rose garden and the beach with all the youngins. So hope to see you guys all then. Catch you later. Bye.